Hello, hello, hello. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and your Best Boss Bootcamp Minute. We're going to be continuing with what we began in our last Best Boss Bootcamp Minute, where we're going to be taking apart, explaining, and understand how to use the 11 laws of systems thinking. Originally conceived and designed by Peter Senge, it's a way of understanding and explaining how supposedly problems that are relatively easy or seem easy to fix tend to bounce back, push back, go back to their starting point over and over again. That's what we call systems problems. So we want to start thinking about how to really tease apart the different components of a system to make the biggest difference. So part of that is understanding these laws, these truisms that happen for system problems. So number two is that the harder you push, the harder the system pushes back. And this is a really telling one for me, remembering oftentimes coming back from really good motivational, inspirational conferences and coming back to my team with brilliant ideas of how we're going to overhaul this, overhaul that, and getting pushback over and over again. Even with folks that understood me, that we were working really well as a team, the system pushed back because of this very strong push forward that I was imposing on the system. So maybe you have some example that comes to mind for you about a system that is pushing back. So I want you to take into account these three things that will really help in understanding how to mitigate that pushback. Number one is the idea of seeking leverage points. So what that means is it's just like the Jenga game. And if you've ever worked with me before, you know I'm a big fan of the Jenga analogy. When you play a Jenga game, there's one piece that makes the biggest difference and a lot of other pieces that don't make a difference. So when you're thinking about how to address a system problem, a system that's pushing back, the more that you push forward, consider where are the leverage points? Where are the things that would hopefully take the least amount of effort and make the biggest difference, right? Oftentimes we go to the bright and shiny things, the thing that takes our attention, the things that people are complaining about the most. And what I want to encourage you to do is to take a systems perspective, to really look and say, in fact, if you can map it out, saying how this piece affects this piece, how this piece affects this piece, you'll start to see loops of continuous feedback and a whole bunch of other things that happen in systems thinking. But when you start to see the big picture of the system, you can start to understand where those leverage points might be. Again, where you're putting basically the least amount of effort to get the most amount of outcome. Number two is you want to really, really foster an environment, a culture of experimentation and learning, right? We want to make sure that we are dipping our toes over and over and over again into new things, new ways, new innovations. The problem is oftentimes, again, the harder you push, the harder it pushes back, is that we jump in, we put the whole thing out. What we want to start to do is when we are starting to devise solutions and share solutions and get buy-in from our people, is find the places where you can make small changes and get the biggest results. So experiment and learn. And number three is really work on building resilience for yourself and for your people. And the way that you do that is, there's a lot of surface ways of building resilience. There's trainings, there's videos, there's a whole bunch of things that teach you how to be resilient. And all those are good things. But without doing the deep dive and understanding what is it about ourselves that is preventing us from being resilient or gets in the way of our being resilient, then everything else is just dressing on the window, right? We want to do the root cause analysis for what is going on for us in terms of our own resilience. So ask yourself, when am I least resilient? And why is that? And see if you can start to really get into for yourself and encourage this for your people to understand the root cause for why you're getting in your own way. All right, use those three strategies and you'll find that the system won't push back nearly as hard as it has in the past. In fact, it may actually embrace your change when you do it strategically and you do it smart. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and your Best Boss Bootcamp Minute. We'll see you soon. Bye now.